The Life You Can Save by Peter Singer is a thought-provoking book that challenges readers to reconsider their moral obligations toward those who suffer from poverty and preventable diseases around the world. Through a combination of moral philosophy, real-world examples, and compelling statistics, Singer argues that individuals in affluent societies have the power, and the responsibility, to alleviate the suffering of those in extreme poverty. The book is both a moral call to action and a practical guide for how one can make a difference, no matter how small, in the lives of people facing life-threatening challenges. Peter Singer, a renowned moral philosopher, begins by exploring the basic principles of ethical behavior and how they apply to issues of global poverty. He posits that the vast economic inequalities between affluent and impoverished nations create a moral imperative for the wealthy to contribute to efforts aimed at saving lives. The book is built on a simple but powerful argument: if we can prevent harm without sacrificing anything of comparable moral importance, we ought to do so. In the case of global poverty, this means that the affluent world has a moral obligation to help those in dire need. Singer's argument is rooted in the philosophy of utilitarianism, which advocates for actions that promote the greatest good for the greatest number of people. He uses this ethical framework to argue that we should extend our moral concern beyond the immediate circle of family and friends to include those who are suffering in distant corners of the world. Just because someone is far away or their plight doesn't directly affect us does not diminish the moral urgency of alleviating their suffering. In fact, Singer argues, the fact that so many people suffer needlessly should motivate us to act, especially when the cost of helping is so small compared to the benefits of saving a life. The author begins by addressing the psychological and emotional distance that often separates affluent individuals from the suffering of the poor. Many people are unaware of the sheer scale of poverty around the world, and even when they are aware, they may feel overwhelmed or helpless. Singer acknowledges that the problems are complex, but he insists that this should not lead to inaction. He presents compelling arguments showing that small contributions, when aggregated across the global population, can have a massive impact on reducing suffering. In this way, even individuals with limited financial resources can play a part in alleviating poverty. Throughout the book, Singer provides numerous examples of the suffering faced by individuals in impoverished countries, often highlighting preventable diseases such as malaria, which causes millions of deaths annually. He uses the metaphor of a drowning child to illustrate his point. If you saw a child drowning in a shallow pond and could save them with little effort or cost to yourself, it would be morally indefensible not to do so. In the same way, Singer argues, we have a moral obligation to help those suffering from preventable causes, even if they are far away and we don't know them personally. One of the key concepts in The Life You Can Save is the idea of effective altruism, the philosophy of using reason and evidence to determine the most effective ways to improve the world. Singer advocates for a strategic approach to charity, encouraging readers to donate to organizations that are proven to be the most effective in saving lives and improving well-being. He critiques many traditional charitable organizations for being inefficient and not prioritizing the most pressing issues. For Singer, it's not enough to simply give money, it's about giving money in ways that have the greatest possible impact. This means supporting interventions that are cost-effective, scalable, and proven to make a difference. Singer also discusses the importance of setting a personal giving target. Rather than waiting for others to solve the problem or assuming that someone else will contribute, Singer argues that individuals should set aside a portion of their income to donate to effective causes. He suggests a concrete figure, often recommending that people aim to give at least 1% of their income to charity, though he encourages higher contributions for those who can afford it. The book provides practical advice on how individuals can make giving a regular part of their lives, without significantly sacrificing their own well-being. This approach transforms charity from an occasional or altruistic gesture into a consistent moral duty. In The Life You Can Save, Singer doesn't just advocate for donating money, he also encourages readers to change their mindset about what it means to live a good life. He proposes that living an ethical life involves taking responsibility for the global community and recognizing our shared humanity. He emphasizes that this isn't a call to give until we are impoverished, but rather to adopt an ethical framework where giving is normalized and integrated into our daily lives. Singer points out that by adjusting our consumption habits and being more mindful of the way we use our resources, we can free up more money to donate without sacrificing our quality of life. The book also addresses the skepticism many readers may have about the effectiveness of charity, particularly when it comes to donations. Singer reassures readers by pointing to organizations such as GiveWell and The Life You Can Save, which rigorously evaluate the effectiveness of charities and ensure that funds are used efficiently. He highlights the fact that even small amounts of money, when directed toward high-impact causes, can go a long way in saving lives and improving health in low-income countries. This evidence-based approach aims to overcome the common concern that charitable donations might be wasted or misused. Throughout the book, Singer counters the objections that people often raise when confronted with the issue of global poverty. These objections include the belief that governments should be responsible for solving these problems, the idea that charitable donations are a drop in the ocean, and the notion that poverty is simply an inevitable part of life. Singer refutes these points by explaining the systemic nature of poverty and showing that individuals do have the power to make a difference. While governments do have a role to play, he argues that this should not absolve individuals of their moral responsibility to help. Singer's message is clear: living a morally responsible life means acknowledging that we have the power to reduce suffering and prevent death on a massive scale. It's not enough to feel sympathy or regret about the state of the world, we must act. By giving strategically, donating to highly effective organizations, and making a regular commitment to charity, we can all contribute to reducing the suffering of others. Singer emphasizes that this approach benefits not only the recipients of aid but also the givers, who can experience a sense of fulfillment and purpose by aligning their actions with their values. One of the book's most striking ideas is its call for a radical shift in the way we think about our moral obligations. Singer encourages readers to view giving as an integral part of living an ethical life, not as a sporadic or optional activity. This shift requires rethinking the way we prioritize our spending and reimagining our relationship to wealth and resources. It also calls for a deep empathy for the suffering of others, regardless of distance or nationality. Singer doesn't suggest that we can solve global poverty on our own, but he stresses that our collective efforts can have a tremendous impact. Through individual actions, small donations, and a broader commitment to helping others, we can build a world where fewer people die from preventable causes, where children grow up with access to food, clean water, and education, and where we work together to create a more just and compassionate global society. The final section of the book is a call to action, urging readers to make a tangible commitment to giving. Singer suggests that each person can choose the amount they feel comfortable donating and select causes they believe in. But the key is to make giving a regular part of life and to challenge the assumption that poverty is too large or too distant to tackle. He encourages readers to think critically about the world's most pressing problems, take personal responsibility, and take small steps toward creating a better future for everyone. In conclusion, The Life You Can Save is not just a book about charity, it's a compelling philosophical argument about our moral responsibility to those who suffer in extreme poverty. Peter Singer challenges readers to rethink their priorities and make a deliberate effort to alleviate suffering, even when it feels distant or overwhelming. The book empowers readers to take meaningful action, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and ethical framework to make a real difference. It's a call to embrace the power of altruism and recognize that the life you can save is within your reach, and it's waiting for you to act.